How the blazes did you get off that island?
When you marooned me on that godforsaken spit of land, you forgot one very important thing, mate. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
Ah, well, I won't be making that mistake again.
In this first kind analysis, which is an analysis, kinda, we're going to look at the first movie of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, Curse of the Black Pearl. Now, since I've never made my thoughts known on this franchise due to the fact that there are so few videos on Matrix Wars, let me go ahead and let you know what I think about these movies. Curse of the Black Pearl, pretty good. Dead Man's Chest, good. At World's End, my personal favorite. On Stranger Tides, pretty good. Dead Men Tell No Tales, well, meh. Now, I've always thought of the Pirates franchise as an original trilogy and their sequel trilogy, which is what they are currently working on now. The story is compelling and meaningful, especially for Disney, and just like the prequel and original Star Wars trilogies, they come out once every 3 to 4 years. So, I'm going to be going through a semi-analysis of the movie by looking at the story, the characters and their motivations, as well as themes and symbolism, and why it's so important. So first of all, if you don't know the story, I suppose that the first thing that I should do is ask you, where have you been this whole time? But I'll go ahead and give a super quick summary. It's about a pirate named Jack. It's Jack Sparrow. An all-around good guy, Will Turner. Beautiful Elizabeth Swann, who's a better female character in the first 20 minutes than Ray is in both episode 8, 7, and 8. And the villain Barbossa, who isn't menacing, but definitely fun to watch. Barbossa needs to gather all these Aztec gold chains in order to be immortal again and get flesh on their bones. See what I did there? Jack wants a boat, and Will and Elizabeth want to get married. Elizabeth is kidnapped by the bad guys. Will and Jack team up. Barbossa dies, and Elizabeth and Will get together. Yeah, I told you, super quick summary. So, what about the characters? If there is anything that is obvious about the Pirates movies, it is that the entire series is built around his characters. 1, 2, and 3 were built around Jack, Will, Elizabeth, Barbossa, and various other crew members. 4 and 5 were mostly about Jack and Barbossa. So let's take a look at the characters in Curse of the Black Pearl in order to better understand where they are coming from. Jack Sparrow is a pirate and the main character of the franchise. He's funny, witty, and totally selfish. During the movies, yes, even this one, Jack is pressed to fight against this selfishness that he has, as seen with his rescue of Elizabeth. But what is it that drives Jack throughout this first movie? Is it gold? Is it pleasure? No. It's the first thing that he mentions in the movie, and continues to pursue throughout the rest of it. His ship. The Black Pearl. It's his home. The thing that he cares about more than anything else. This is the thing that becomes his ultimate pursuit. Not only in this movie, but in the others as well. Although it is pressed upon more so in the first film than in any of the others. But in order to get to the Pearl, he needs help, which he gets from Will Turner. Will Turner is, if you didn't already know, my least favorite character in the Pirates franchise. His appearance in 5 was definitely something that I was excited about seeing, as how he's no longer totally consumed with his father, and freeing him from the clutches of Davy Jones. More on that next video. So, what is Will's desire in this movie? The thing that he strives for more than anything else. Although he does ask a lot of questions about his father, it is quite obvious that the thing that he cares about the most is Elizabeth. During this movie, you also see the influence Jack has on Will. At the beginning of the film, Will would never dare think about helping out a pirate, as he seems to be the cookie cutout of the perfect little patriot. Yet, through his desire for Elizabeth, he begins to see this fascination with the darker side of pirating. Now, Elizabeth Swann is definitely Will's motivation, but is Will's Elizabeth's motivation? No. Although throughout the movie we see that she is in love with him, she does not seek him or desire to have him as he does with her. Instead, she's very different than any of the other characters. Instead of pursuing something, whether it be an object or a dream, Elizabeth simply wants to keep Port Royal, her father, and Will alive, even if it means sacrificing herself in the progress. If this doesn't scream strong female character, then I don't know what will. Elizabeth doesn't sacrifice her well-being in order to try and teach a moral lesson that women can do the things that men can. Instead, she sacrifices herself for a very human reason, because she loves and cares for her people, family, and Will, and would not want to see them come to any harm. And who would dish out this type of harm? That would be Barbossa. And he is one of the greatest villains and later on one of the greatest anti-heroes to grace the silver screen in my opinion. As any good villain should, one sympathizes with him and the dilemma that he faces. He doesn't want to watch the world burn, and he doesn't want to take from others as well as their lives. Instead, Barbossa wants to seek out the end of his curse. And why? So that he can eat and drink and feel again. The curse has left him empty inside, just like one would feel after spending gold on frivolous items. Barbossa doesn't seek the Black Pearl or even to hold on to it. Rather, he seeks a dream, to live in a world where he can be human again. So what are some of the themes and symbolisms that encompass this story?
What are you doing? You burned all the food, the shade, the rum.
Yes, the rum is gone.
Why is the rum gone?
One, because it is a vile drink that turns even the most respectable men into complete scoundrels. Two, that signal is over 1,000 feet high. The entire Royal Navy is out looking for me. Do you really think that there is even the slightest chance that they won't see it?
But why is the rum gone?
Irony is a major theme in The Curse of the Black Pearl. The biggest irony throughout the entire film is at the climax, where Barbossa is able to feel again for the first time in the entire movie. Yet the only thing that he can feel is the iron grip of death, since right after the curse was lifted, Jack shoots him with a shot from his pistol. Another ironic thing is that Barbossa has lived his life for years now, in a state that feels as though he is constantly dead. Yet right as soon as he is able to live again, and feel that feeling once more, he is shot, and immediately returns back to death. This time, quite literally. Along with this ironic twist is also the concept that Barbossa was left for dead on an island by Jack. But that's just as Barbossa, before this movie was even going through the paces, he left Jack for dead on an island. Both are also presumed dead. Yet, in the end, both return.
Will you be saving her then?
I can't swim.
Throw her to the King's Navy, you are. Do not lose this.
Jack seems to be struggling with the concept of selfishness and selflessness. As seen in the beginning of the film when Elizabeth falls into the water, Jack must rescue her even though at first he shows that he'd much rather not, by stating that he'd rather one of the soldiers save her. But why is it that Jack struggles with this inward battle? Well, one might presume it is due to the fact of Barbossa's mutiny that happened in the past. Jack sees in Barbossa the pirate that he could be and definitely wants to be. Yet, unlike Barbossa, he decides to be selfless at times, where Barbossa would most likely take the selfish approach. In the movie, Will Turner can be seen as the personification of right and good, while on the opposite side lies Barbossa, who will do anything to anyone to get what he wants. In the middle is Jack in this figurative tug-of-war. Throughout this film, we see this coming back and forth between Sparrow and the beliefs held by both of the parties. In conclusion, Curse of the Black Pearl is one of the most important films in cinema history, just based on the fact that it had revived a dying genre, that being the pirate movies. Yet it also spurred forward a cultural icon, Jack Sparrow, who will be held down in the future as a part of the American mythos. It also was the first Disney movie that had banked on being a quick cash grab that ended up being one of the most financially vital franchises in Hollywood. If only Disney could get right the sixth movie, instead of rebooting it without Captain Jack himself.
Clearly you've never been to Singapore.